Hey everybody, this is TokyoKami coming to you live with potentially one of my final JVlogs for like a while. I never made a video about it 2 years ago, but I was rewatching a JVlog to see if there was any quality issues or what have you, and I stumbled across the JVlog 3 or 4 when I was in my apartment in Takaranomaba Shinjuku. And I was I said something like I have class orientation or whatever, you know, what have you. So the purpose of this video is to essentially review the institution that I studied at for my entire duration within Tokyo. So forgive me, I don't have any of that fancy editing software, so I have like a script right here, just a basic outlines of what I need to say. Not what I need to say per se, but more so of like generalizations to keep me on topic, because I have this problem with the digressing, or no, I guess that's not the proper word, of getting off track of something that I'm talking about. So I'm trying to make a little bit more of a professional kind of video. And I have like all these little tabs here or whatever to help me navigate. So I went to ISI International. I'll have like little picture things up here because, you know, we 2015. I went to ISI International, or as it's commonly referred to, ISI Nihongo Gakko, and I believe there's a picture that's coming up soon, but I went through their summer program for 2014, and I believe that is this one. Yes. Okay. So this is a fairly modern picture of like the advertisement for their summer program, and this is actually an advertisement for the school that I actually attended. So I went to the ISI language school in Takaranomaba Shinjuku. And you know, there's like excuse me, you know, there's three other schools, and but let me find the map. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so there's the Nagano Language College, the ISI Chikyo, and ISI Language School. I don't think this one shows the other one because there's an ISI College now into what is it? ISI College in what is it? It's not. Fuck. Wait, hang on. Let me pull this up. Ikebukuro. That's it. I had to pull up the kanji because I couldn't remember it or whatever for some reason. Yeah, so okay, so here's the yeah, these are the 4 schools that are for, you know, ISI whatever, you know, ISI Language Institute. This is just a common like thing. I went to the one on the furthest. I'll put my finger under it. Boom, I went to this one. And overall, it was a very satisfying experience, but I guess more so the question that anyone's wondering is how I came into contact with the school, you know. So I was researching summer exchange programs because I wanted to study in Tokyo at the end of my junior year, going into my senior year of high school. I'm in college now, of course, but and I was going through like programs like Youth for Understanding and whatnot, and they were just outrageously expensive for the amount of time you'd be staying there. But I kind of understand, because you're paying for like a host family and all that cool shit or whatever. And so I stumbled upon this website, and of course every website I ran into with something pertaining to such an endeavor like traveling abroad to study at a school, I did my research and proved the legitimacy of the business or whatever. because obviously there's some pretty shady offers out there. I'm not gonna lie, there's some shady offers out there. So after establishing the legitimacy of this business or this institution with my grandfather, who wanted to send me out there, he was fully, you know, supporting it. He told me to, like, basically get all the information, present it to him, and then we could work on it together so that I could actually get my shit and go. Right? But I found this after searching for hours, like this place for hours. It should be on like a front page search now, because it's in the 2 years that I've known this institution. It's well, almost 3 now, almost 3 years that I've known this institution. I came to know it in 2013, and then basically waited until the summer program, which was in 2014, to actually be you know, go into school, you know, go to school there. I can't think right now because I have my face in this area. But so the primary concern with actually going abroad was the cost, and I was working part-time for my grandfather's his business, and over the time that I was waiting to go to Japan, I had amassed $4,000 for this trip, specifically for this trip. $4,000 for this trip. That was $1,000 for my apartment, and then my flight, and then the $2,000 was split between school expense as well as personal expense, and that's a dangerous. That personal expense part is a pretty dangerous part when you're having fun in a country where you already like speak, you know, the language, and you're able to have fun to the fullest. You know, every day is like a weekend. Every day was a weekend when I went there. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, like I said, I went to the ISI language school, and I, you know, did my thing. I got set up, but people don't understand that when you're waiting for that living arrangement, here I believe it is this. Nope. Which one is it? No, it's not it. Oh, I'm so bad at making videos. Whatever. Okay. So there was not that one. Not that one. Cancel. Yeah, I think it was this one. Fuck. Whatever. Okay. Yeah, this is the link. This is the school I went to, right? I came to orientation here. When I arrived, though, I actually didn't. I was almost a week ahead of schedule. Almost a week ahead of schedule, and so the thing is, I don't even have my apartment yet. So I rented out a hotel in it's 2 train stations away. It's closer to Ikebukuro. I forgot where it was, but maybe this. No. Anyways, it doesn't matter. It was so I stayed at a hotel there, and I waited until school, and I had to go from the hotel to the school on my first day because I didn't have my apartment yet. My apartment check-in thing or whatever, my reservation to rent that apartment was actually after I had class. So you can imagine how bummed I was when I woke up that morning and I was like, oh fuck, I gotta take all this shit, like all my baggage and whatnot, and I gotta move it somewhere else, you know, which was great because it was actually bigger than the hotel that I was staying at. I couldn't even open my suitcase fully in the hotel that I was staying at. That's just let that just explain how small my living circumstances were. So when I upgraded to this small cave, it felt like a really big house for just one person, and a service purpose, right? So in terms of the circumstances of when I arrived, it was pretty weird because some people were getting there that day, like they'd get off the fucking plane and bam, orientation, bam, get their apartment. But there is specifics that I go into, or that I'm about to go into, in terms of how you can select your living conditions within this program. So I personally wanted an apartment for myself, right? So that's exactly what I got. I had the option to stay with a host family, I had the option to stay in a student house, and I had the option to rent an apartment. But collectively, as it went on, the more people that are living in that same apartment, the cheaper it would be, of course. Oh, excuse me. The problem is what I suppose they don't tell you in terms of like, because I had the opportunity to meet some like really, really great people, and they told me how it was to live with other students and whatnot, and they said the living conditions were mixed in the sense that you never really know who you're getting paired up with, and that's the same for like dormitories in college and whatnot. But I suppose I don't have a dorm in college because I live right next to my college. But the thing is like they were saying like their apartment wasn't like the best, so to speak. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good at the same time. It was sort of like in this like limbo, neutral state of I didn't want to live there, you know. But so obviously they moved within like a month of them staying, a month and a half. I had a friend move twice in like 2 weeks because he was trying to find the right fit or whatever for an apartment. So I'm happy that I got an apartment, and my apartment was actually fairly close to the school. I was about 10-15 minutes of walking distance from ISI language school, right? So but I wasn't even supposed to get that reservation. I was supposed to stay in Ikebukuro, if I'm not mistaken. So that would have been like a shitty train ride to do every morning or every afternoon, because I would always be out until like 6 in the morning. But they came, you know, ISI pulled through, and I got, you know, my apartment near ILS, one of their branch schools. The pricing, it wasn't actually that expensive, because I believe I just went over this right now, but it's actually the cheapest program that I found. And you know, that being said, I highly recommend anyone who wants to like go there, to go to Japan and like get a student visa to just experience it. There is like, they offer programs or whatever. I didn't personally go through one because I was still in high school, but they offer programs for people who want to go to college or work in Japan. So if you're, you know, looking into that, I would, you know, hit them up with an email, ask them questions, tell them good old TokyoKami Anthony via Padua sent you. You feel me? But the orientation was actually kind of surreal in the sense that I was expecting to meet with like, I was expecting to be grouped with like Americans, in the sense that when I was under the assumption that there was like a lot of Americans that were going to go there. I didn't actually check the racial demographic, but the majority of people I met were Swedish, Chinese, Korean, and I guess the fourth most one that I ever saw was British people out there, in terms of students at the school. So when orientation came to, I was the only American in that orientation room, that specific room, and there was one other American. There was one other American that I met there, and it was like, whoa, we have to become best friends. And he was like, but that's another story. I'll just finish what I'm saying. So I saw like a lot of British passports. I saw Spanish, German passports. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't even know. Like, where am I? You know. But they, you know, they did a very excellent job in creating a sense of like unity, in the sense that you're basically, at that point, you're pretty much obligated to be friends, because who else would you know, be friends with? You can't, like, I mean, I guess you could be friends with the teachers, but I mean, what good would that do you? I mean, you wouldn't be able to like hang out or whatever because they're busy or whatever. Now, something that's really important is the class structure. The way classes were taught, they used a book called Minna no Nihongo, and I guess it's like an alternative studying to Genki. I've heard good things about the book. The problem is with the assessment test in the class that I was placed, I was far much advanced for the class, so I felt like the the placement test that you take immediately after orientation. Didn't do a very well job in terms of my perceived placing, because at that point I had finished Japanese 2. This is college level Japanese, and I'm taking it in high school. Now keep in mind that's really important. I also had like half a year of self-study under my belt, so I was like pretty confident coming into that room and taking that interview. So when I sat down, I was listening to people around me, and there were some people were struggling, some people were fucking fluent. But the overall, like when I sat and interviewed, in terms of like speaking abilities and like listening abilities, I was flawless. Like it got to the point where like in the interview we just started talking about nonsensical stuff that had nothing to do with the interview, and we were doing it perfectly, absolutely perfectly, no problem understanding him. He had no problem understanding me. Never corrected my Japanese, which is I guess something they would do if you were struggling, and I wasn't struggling, so I felt pretty fucking confident. Alright, now we get to the written test with kanji and whatnot, and writing composition, and all that juicy shit. And first page, front side of the page, I was like bam bam bam, like fucking 100%. Like I can guarantee you I got 100% on that. And I flip it over and it's like really advanced, like N1 N2 shit, right? So I felt like I got like about half, maybe 75% of them. So I felt like I scored at an intermediate level, but they placed me at basically the edge of the bridge between beginner and intermediate. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, this class is so easy. I'm able to do this, I'm able to do that. I don't need to do... I really didn't need to be in that class at that time, but I'm thankful because I made friends whom I still talk to this day. So overall, it was a good experience. It's just like the way I was placed into a class that I was far too capable to be taking. It was just a big letdown. And even some of my teachers sympathized with the fact that there was a lot of people in that class who were way too advanced to be in that class. But of course, these issues resolve themselves within a couple months if you're staying in a year. I, however, was staying for almost 2 months, so I didn't get the luxury of being able to experience the classes that I was actually supposed to take. So that's the thing. Like I said, the people are overall great. It took me a while to get to break the ice, so to speak, with a lot of people because I was very shy. I can just get on this YouTube or the Twitch TVs, and I can act like a fucking idiot and laugh really loudly and be obnoxious and annoying, because even though people are watching, I at the same time it's kind of like, oh, I do this anyways if people aren't watching, like when I'm not streaming or on YouTube. Not talking to myself in the camera. That would be a sign of schizophrenia, but that's a difference. The point is, I was really shy, and I made a lot of friends. I think I made like 80 or something like that. 80, 75 friends, like bam, like right after the other. And what comes with that is the sadness of actually having to let them go. And that was a tough week because I met several people who impacted my life greatly in a positive way. No one impacted me negatively over there, and it felt great, It felt really good to be at the right place at the right time all the fucking time. And that may sound like a weebish kind of thing, like, oh, he's just saying that because he's in Japan. But if you're in a place, if you're in a location filled with people who share the same views as you, almost identically the same views as you, people who are interested or remotely interested in what you are based on like mutual interests, like you can be like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool, or they think that's pretty cool, blah blah, and you'll talk about it for like fucking hours. And I remember I was having like a philosophical discussion with this Swedish dude at Gusto, which was my favorite fucking place in the world. It's like the best place. You need to go there. When you're in Japan, you need to go there. And we talked for about 2.5, 3 hours about philosophy, and it just happened out of nowhere. Like, I was like, you know what, I'm interested in what people believe in. It's really interesting to see different viewpoints, I guess, in terms of like a sort of like a philosophical relativism. But this is just an example. Or like going to karaoke and just like being able to sing "You Are Shock" like really fucking loudly and not give a shit because all your friends are laughing and singing with you. Or just overall, like there was like you became a family in essence, and because we didn't have anyone out there, it was just us and the clothes on our back, so to speak. You know, we didn't really have anyone out there, so in that aspect, I believe it's the same for any person who moved to Japan, who emigrated to Japan, in that when they go, they really don't have that many you know, if anyone, they don't have that much people to be around. So when they make friends, they develop these close, very intimate sort of relationships that they then carry on to almost like a family sort of bond, if that makes sense. And that's why goodbyes are the most hardest thing to do, because it's like saying bye to your second family, you know. And yeah, that was a tough day. Overall, the experience was fucking amazing. I highly recommend it to you. I'll put like do I have any other example photos? Do I? Yeah. So that was the school that I attended, by the way. So this hot mess. All right, and then I'll put a close up pretty soon. But this was the school I attended. The overall experience for this place was fucking great. I highly recommend you, if you're interested in a summer program, or if you're interested in fucking studying for a year or even 2 years. I know people who are still at that institution. I would highly recommend it. Like, you have nothing to lose, absolutely nothing to lose. And if anything, you know, you just meet a bunch of great people and have, you know, established connections. Like, I know because I went to this school, I know a model, like a fucking model in Japan who's fucking everywhere. He's like, I have a friend who takes pictures whenever she finds his like photo shoot pictures in places in Tokyo that, you know, have high traffic, and she's like, what the fuck, I know this guy. But that's besides the point. This is like this is a fucking experience, dude. It's a fucking experience. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm getting like a fucking nostalgia trip right now. But I loved this school. I loved all the people I met in it. I loved all the like the friends that I made through friends that I met at this school. I met, you know, I loved every aspect about going to school here. By far the best like academic institution in terms of the social aspect of life that I've ever been to in my life, for sure. You know, it's not that long ago that I remember. It's not that long ago that I remember 4 a.m. karaoke with my friend Luigi, who was in one of the Japan fan casts when that show was still in a continuous progress, I guess, before it ended abruptly. And it was a memorable experience that I want others to enjoy. So by the time this video is up, I'll have like links. I suppose I can put a link on this part of the video where this thing is. And damn, you would fucking love it. Anyone watching this, you would fucking love it. If you're thinking about going to Japan and like YFU is fucking out of your price range because they're ridiculous with their prices, in my opinion, go to ISI International. You have literally nothing to lose. You have so much options for living accommodations to live. The pricing is so good. The accommodation is what you choose. So like I said, it can be anything you want. It could be as fun as me, where I got to live by myself, and I was 16 going on 17 at the time. The classes were all right. There was one teacher that I had that was like every fucking time he didn't know what to do, he'd be like, "Sa, doshio kana, doshio kana, doshio kana." He just didn't know what to do, so he just taught random stuff. But there was other teachers who were like fucking rigid teachers that would bore you to sleep. And then there was my favorite one. I'm sorry if you watched this video, Sensei, but I can't recall your name right now because I haven't talked to you in like 10 years. Not really, but like I haven't talked to you since then. I believe her name was Haruna Miyachi? No, not Miyachi. Okage? No, that's not her name. Fuck, I'm so sorry. You were the coolest teacher and I couldn't remember your name. I'm so sorry. Maybe it might come to me after this video and then I'll look like a total ass, but whatever. The point is, it was an overall great experience. I got to be where I wanted to be, and as a result, I networked with people and made really close friends, right? That was a good thing. Now, the JVlog bonus aspect of it, and this is what constitutes itself as a JVlog, was the fact that I got to meet Tikio Sam. I almost got to meet Connor Tsunami. I came into contact with Sandra no Sakai indirectly through Line because of this experience. A lot of things were happening at the time, like Gimme a Flake Man gave us a shout out for the JFC show when it was still on air, you know, which was a big deal to me. Hiko Simon followed me on Twitter, and I suppose like I don't know. I don't know. It was just like a lot of shit happened with JVlogging that just like amplified how I did YouTube, and that's what I was looking for. And just a lot of JVlog shit happened when I was there. Like, a lot of JVlog shit. I'm not a popular JVlogger by any means, and I wasn't a popular JVlogger when I started out, but I had a significant audience that came to my channel for that specific sort of thing. And as a result of me getting literally 10 points away, being 10 points away from on my SAT score from attaining a student visa at Tebo University, Japan, fucking killed me, because I felt like I let down not only my family, I've let down myself, I let down everyone who was looking forward to more videos. I let down people I made promises to, like I will fucking go to Japan. The problem is I could have retaken the SAT, right? But it wouldn't have been in time to submit an application to TUJ and be accepted. So I gotta stick it out for a couple more years, probably 4, but I'll probably most definitely visit Japan within the span of time that it'll take to get back permanently, if that makes sense. And it won't count as my 3rd time being back in Japan. I won't count it until I'm actually there, because, you know, 3rd time's a charm. But yeah, is there any other like? Oh yeah. So here's like a bigger picture of here's a bigger picture of my school, right there. So that's like a close-up. It's where I would walk by and whatnot. But like I said, it's a really good experience. You just gotta go do it. It's really fun. I loved every second I was there, and it happened too fast, and it felt like an eternity at the same time when I was there. Yeah, I have so much like videos that I can make that out of stories that I have over there. But I suppose I'll save those for like another time in the future. Not anytime soon, but yeah. All I can say is I hope the years that come after this video has been made and put on my YouTube, I can only hope that time it went by fast. And you know, I'll be in my early 20s by then, so yeah. So thank you for bearing with me on this video. This is a long video, I know, but just yeah. So thank you guys for watching. Sorry, my little sister was shouting in the back. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.